G'day, Stu from UAVfutures here, and today we're going to be checking out this right here. Now this is my sort of first review of this sort of thing, but this is a lipo charger. This is the Q200 from Skyrc, and I am super stoked to actually get something like this because this thing I am going to be using every single day. Because if you have a look at this shot right here, you will notice that my charging situation is a little bit more than sketchy actually, and I have a ton of batteries. I've got about 40 lipos to get through all the time, so sometimes charging can be a little bit hairy, but this thing sort of fills me with confidence when I'm charging. It makes me feel a lot better because there are some awesome features about this thing. It's a very, very powerful, cool little charger, and you can even check it out and find out what your cells are doing on your phone, so you don't have to sit right on top of it to monitor what's going on. Anyway, let's stick it on the bench and get started. Alrighty, so here's the charger on the bench, and you can see it is significantly bigger than most of the other chargers. But that is because this thing is actually a 4-in-1 charger. That's probably its main feature. But what you're going to get in the box, you are going to get a set of instructions, and they're pretty detailed instructions actually, and usually, look, I don't bother reading them, but I think it's important when you do get a new charger to make sure you read those. You're also going to get 4 of these, so each one of these plugs into each one of the ports on the charger, so that's for charging your different cell lipos. So from 2 to 6S lipos up there, and then they go together like this, so you're going to get 4 of those. One cool little feature, you do get some of these little plastic plugs just here. That's a fantastic feature because sometimes you might have a lipo in this side, and if you're inexperienced, or maybe you're just having a bit of a brain melt for a second, you pull your battery out, it pulls this out. If those two little ports touch each other, it's going to cause a short. So by having it stuck in this little plastic connector, that's fantastic, and they are labeled with positive and negative, which makes it even better. So I like that little safety sort of function. And then another little bonus extra, you actually get 2 of these. So these are the last 2 little things you get, and this is in case you're not using XT60s, because all of those have XT60s on the end. You can actually just solder up one of your own, or I guess 2 of your own plugs right here. So some very, very cool little features or little bonus extras that come with it. Now let's talk about the actual unit itself. So the first thing I like about it, you can see on the back here, we actually have 3 things in terms of powering our charger, or the Q200. So number 1, you can plug this thing straight into the wall. It does not need its own separate power supply or anything like that, which I know all my other chargers tend to do. All my 4-button chargers, they all need their own power supplies, and you've got to worry about, is your amp rating going to match them, and all those sorts of things. But with this one, you can just plug it into the wall, and that's going to take care of itself, and you can use that with this little plug right there, and it literally just plugs in, and then you plug this end into the wall. Over here, if you really wanted to, you can also hook up some DC power as well, so that's got an XT60 there, so you could actually power this off a lipo, a 3S lipo, but I don't know why you would be doing that, but you can charge it. So maybe if you want to run it off your car or something like that, you can do that as well. And then this other little feature in terms of powering it, look at this. Now, I don't know why I'm so excited about that, because yeah, that's just an on-off switch, but all my other chargers I've got to pull out from the wall or totally turn off at the wall. This thing, I think that's a great feature to have on a charger, is just a way to completely shut off everything that's going down, so that's fantastic. Rightio, now let's talk about why this charger is so special. The first thing you will notice, what's called the Q200, and that is because it has, I think it's a 200 watt total power distribution. So you can put up to 200 watts in here, and this thing should be, well, I'm not going to say just fine, but that's what it's rated to. That's, I guess, I wouldn't suggest going over that. You have 2 10 amp ports right here, so you actually, and 2 5 amp ports right here. So that's probably my favorite thing about it. It actually has 4 ports. So A and B, they can handle 10 amps, and C and D can handle up to 5 amps. Now that's great because a lot of the time I find myself doing some balance charging, so I whack on like a balance board. Hang on, I'll just go get one. And that's great because if I'm charging something like 6 or 1.4 amp hour batteries, I'm going to need a few amps to get all those done. So it's going to be getting close to 10. So on either A port or B port, that's going to be coming very handy. Now it doesn't include one of these, but I definitely recommend getting one of these if you are going to get a serious charger like this. This is also going to save you a lot of time. Now in terms of the ports, what we actually have on the front of each charger, and sorry if this is a little bit blurry, I'll see if I can get this into focus, but of course you've got your little terminals where these plug into, so they're going to plug in like that. Then you have your little balance lead, I guess, or your little balance connector, and that's going to be for each individual cell. And all you need to do is hook your battery up to this end, hook and put your cell in there, and you are good to go. You also have this little option as well. Why is this not focusing? Hang on. There we go, that's a bit better focused. You also have this little option as well. Now this doesn't come with it, but you do have the ability to attach a temperature sensor, so if something is getting too hot, you're definitely going to be getting a warning. And then on the front, we have a little 5 volt, 2.1 amp sort of USB port right there, so you can charge something if you want to charge your tiny Whoop batteries or something like that off a little USB. You've got a PC link for when you want to update your firmware. And I think that's it as far as ports go. And you've got 2 massive fans in the side, which are great because you do want this thing to you want it to stay nice and cool, because it is going to be putting all your juice into your batteries. Rightio, so that's a bit of an overview around the outside. Let's turn this bad boy on so we can see why this is such a cool charger, and I'm so excited to use it. Alright, so I've just turned this little thing on right here, and I have turned off 2 of the lights that I used to film this, but I'm going to leave the 3rd one on so you can still see what buttons I'm pressing. So I apologise if some parts are a little bit dark, but this is going to be the way it makes it easiest to see the screen. And you can see all I've got hooked up, I've just hooked up on one of the 10 amp sides, so port A right here. Right, so you got to go through this warning thing. It says pretty much read everything because lipos can be dangerous, and then we come to this menu. Now this is something really, really cool. What you can actually do is jump between each one of these channels. So you can charge a whole bunch of different batteries at once on different voltages, different cells, even different types of batteries. You can configure each one of these ports, A, B, C, and D, to be doing something different. And the way you cycle through those is just by pressing that button until you get to the one you want to actually be at. Now we're just going to work on port A because that's the one I've got things attached to, but all these options would be in all of these. So here's some of the options for the batteries that you do have. So all your different type of batteries in here. You've got your high voltage lipos, which is pretty much what I'm used to anyway, so really I'm just going to be using lipos and the high voltage lipos. Then you can also test your batteries and your battery's resistance. You've got some system settings in there, and that's just safety things, like you can set up how long is it going to be charging for, what's its milliamp hour timeout going to be, its temperature settings, a whole bunch of those different sort of settings you can set up in here. And you can actually make each one of those different as well depending on which channel you have. So maybe you have some really, really big lipos, like some 10 amp hour batteries that you've got to put a whole bunch of stuff into, so it is going to be running for a long time. But on port number D down here, maybe you're just charging some little lipos for your 3S mini flyer or something like that, your little micro. So you might want to have that on a little bit of a different safety setting. So it's cool how you can set up, I guess, a different system, a different safety setting for each one of these batteries, each one of these ports. If we keep going through battery memory, yeah, this is probably my favorite feature right here. Now battery memory is really, really cool because what this actually does, this saves, like, I guess, a program in here or a setting, and it's going to remember exactly all the settings you have. Because one of the things I hate doing, and I know it's such a first world problem, but I really hate mucking around with my 4-button charger, changing different settings every single time I want to stick a lipo in. So with the battery memory, if we go in here, you can see I've already used this a little bit, but one of my settings is set up, it's for a lipo. For 4S lipo, it's going to charge at 5 amps, and what that simply means is if I want to hook this up, I'm going to be able to charge between 2 and 6, I guess, my 1.4 milliamp hour batteries. I'm going to be able to hook that up there, and it's just going to be ready to go. So that's going to be for my 4S batteries when I want to use here. All I have to do is use this port. Now let's say I want to have this on 3S. I've actually go through here, I've set up a memory to do that for 3S. Now we can let's put in another brand new memory here. So let's say I wanted to do this for high voltage. So I'm going to push start. What you need to do, choose the type of battery that you want to work with. So you can go through and choose something. Let's say we're going to be doing a high voltage battery. So push enter there. We're going to go through, you can choose your cell voltages. So let's say I've got a high voltage 5S battery. That's pretty hardcore. Let's put that on here. You're going to put you're going to set how many amps you actually want it to charge at. So this is really handy. Do a bit of maths if you're going to be using a balanced charger, a parallel parallel charger, so we're going to put that in there. But let's just say I've got a 2 amp hour battery, so we're just going to be doing a single one. Hit start there. There we go. So let's go through. You discharge cell voltage. I'm not worrying about any of these things. Then all we have to do is hit enter, and it will save it to the memory. And you can see I've now got battery 3 on the memory saved right there, so we can simply select between each one of these. And the cool thing is you can actually go down, like I think I've got maybe B set up. Instead of having to go through and configure everything, I'm going to go in here, go to my, where is it? Here we go, my battery memory. There we go. I've got this one set up for just one 4S battery, one of my standard 1.4 milliamp hour batteries, so I can use that. And there's my 3S battery right there if I want to do a 3S. If I go down to port C, I think I set that up for one of my high voltage 1 amp hour, sorry, my high voltage 1 amp hour batteries. So let's have a look, go to memory, enter, look, there's my 4S high voltage battery, and I can charge that straight off port C. And then I think I even set up number D. Oh, here we go, excuse me, go backwards in the memory. That was set up for my Fat Shark goggles. So all these things can be happening at the same time. And as long as you've got a good memory, I think a lot of people could come up with some really cool systems on how to just, with a few simple presses of the button, they can configure their charger quickly and very easily, and it can save and do exactly what you want it to do. Now, just for example, the way I've set mine up is port number A, because that can rock 10 amps. I've got that set up, so that's either going to do my balance charging on my 3S or my 4S, and that's always going to be at 5 amps, because that's a fairly good value if I want to charge 4, 5, or 6 batteries. So I can do that very, very easily, and if I want to, I can just switch that over to 4S, which is fine. Number B, I've set that up so I can just charge one LiPo at a time, so either one 3S or one 4S, because most of mine are the same size anyway. C, I've got set up for my high voltage LiPos, so one at a time for those, because I don't have too many of them. And then also D, I've got set up for my Fat Shark. So very, very cool. And the crazy thing is, you can have up to 10 memories per battery. So if you're the sort of person that has a whole heap of stuff in here that you want to actually take care of, or a whole ton of batteries and different types that you need to set up and have special parameters for, this thing can hold up to 40 battery memories in it. So that is very, very cool. Alrighty, so what we should actually do, let's actually charge a battery so we can have a look. And I'm actually going to do that over here, because on port B, I've already got this set up in my memory. So what I need to do is I'm going to connect my LiPo right here. I need one of these little ports that it comes with, push that in the side. There we go, plug in my 4S LiPo. Right, yeah, so hopefully, well, this part you don't need to see this too much, but yeah, you can see that it is plugged in. Let's focus more on here. So I'm going to go up. It's actually saved in, I think, battery memory here, so you can see. Let's go through there. 4S, one 4S battery, and I've already configured this one to charge at 1.4 amps, because that's what most of my 4S batteries actually are. So we hold down enter, I think. Oh yeah, there we go. It checks your battery. When it's ready, hit confirm, and it's going to start charging. Now you get a few little options here. You can actually see how much, gee, this must have had some fairly low cells, fairly empty actually. So you can see here it's charging, gives you a percentage, lets you know that it's green, that it's okay. If we go through here, I think you can cycle some of the things. You can actually see what each one of the cells are. So that's a fairly healthy battery to come in actually. So 3.7, so that's looking all good there. So they're the two options there. If you want to jump through, you can see what the actual cell voltages average are, how much capacity that it's filled up. Yeah, but I would probably leave it on this one, because I actually like to check what cell voltages my batteries are, because things get in trouble with LiPos when you're charging them, and you actually, when one cell is significantly out of balance with the others, it can cause a little bit of problems, especially towards the end of charging. And I think that's when most fires happen. So it's great that once you plug your battery in, if it's a single one like this, you can actually see what's going on. Now, this brings me probably to the most exciting feature about this, because if you're like me and charging LiPos freaks you out a little bit, what you can actually do with this is it gives you a way to monitor your LiPos without having to sort of come into the room all the time. So if you've got a charging station somewhere else, maybe it's in your garage or your shed or somewhere else like that, there's some very cool features. So check this out. Now, if you log on with your phone, you can actually check what's going on. Let me just open up the charging app right here. So here it is, the Q200. So hopefully this detects if I've got Bluetooth on here. There we go. I think we're on B. So I'm clicking on, so you can see the little ports just here. So channel B, that's what we're actually on. And you can see, you get all this stuff on your phone. I'll see if I can, I'm gonna turn the lights out so you guys can see this a little bit better. So you can see right here, it tells you what battery type it is, how many amps it's putting in, what its capacity is, how much have you, I guess how much you've filled it up, the amount of cells, the total voltage, how long it's been charging for, and the charger temperature. And down the bottom, you can see each individual cell and check exactly what each voltage is. So this is very, very cool, because what I can now do, say I'm watching a movie or something like that, I don't have to get up to check what my charger is doing. I can simply check it from the phone now. And another thing too, say you've got your battery plugged in, you can actually stop it from the phone. So I'm going to click stop right there. Hopefully it does tell it to stop. There we go, it has stopped. Now you can also configure some things on the phone. So let's say I want to discharge my batteries or put them into storage. Yeah, let's do that. Let's put this battery into storage. I can click next. Let's set my charge rate to, let's just put it at what it is, 1.4. Let's put this battery into storage. Checks everything, and it is good to go. So now this battery is going to go to storage. So that is very, very cool. It tells you up the top what it is doing. And the crazy thing is you can be checking up to 4 channels at once. So on channel D, you can see I've got nothing active. So I could be setting something else up as well. So very, very cool. I think that is my favorite feature about this charger. Well, 2 favorites. I love how you can set the battery memories, but also how I can check this thing from my phone and find out exactly what's going on. Now, let's see, why is this? Let's see if I can go, oh, I've got to actually click back. There we go. So a very, very cool feature, because lipos freak me out, and just having more of an ability to monitor what's going on is fantastic. Alrighty, so you can see I'm putting all my 4S batteries into storage, because I'm going to start doing that a lot more now with this charger. But definitely you can see I've got all 4 of these ones working a little bit differently. So over here on channel A, I've got that one hooked up to my parallel board, and then I've got each one of these actually, that's a different battery but the same size, and then these 2 are similar batteries. And this one's in red because that's actually discharging, because this is a little bit high for storage, so that's actually removing some of the charge in there. And you can see the other ones, they're all green. That means they are charging, and red is discharging. So overall, I am very, very impressed with this charger. I think it is going to make my life a lot easier, and more importantly, a lot safer. So there it is, there's my review of the Q200 from Skyrc, and definitely a premium charger, but I know for some people out there, one of the chargers can be some of the most important things that they do get, because lipos are something to take pretty seriously, and they can be pretty devastating if things go wrong, or with some of those cheaper ones. So I know for me that I'm going to be definitely pumped to use this charger, but it is kind of on the more expensive end as well, because some chargers can be really, really cheap, and yeah, this one's up in the hundreds of dollars, so that's definitely something to consider if you do want to get one of these for yourself. Anyway, subscribe for more FPV related content. I'm going to go about the process of taking all these chargers out and actually putting this one in and getting it all set up nice and ready and fully installed. But subscribe for more FPV related content, and as always, happy flying!